In a quiet village on the edge of London, there lived a wealthy widow named Mrs. Darcy. Years earlier, her husband had been a clever and successful businessman. When he passed away, he left behind not only a large fortune, but also a deep sense of responsibility. Mrs. Darcy devoted her life to one purpose: giving her only child the best future possible. Her daughter's name was Hazel. Hazel was beautiful, intelligent, and talented. Wherever she went, people noticed her. Mrs. Darcy loved her deeply, perhaps too deeply. From the moment Hazel was born, her mother protected her from disappointment. If Hazel wanted something, she received it. If she disliked something, it was quickly replaced. Mrs. Darcy believed this was love. She never realized that her kindness was slowly turning into indulgence. As the years passed, Hazel grew used to getting exactly what she wanted. She was not cruel, but she had become difficult to please. Nothing ever felt good enough. Compliments bored her. Gifts failed to impress her. And because she had never learned to wait or accept less, she did not know how to be grateful. One evening, Mrs. Darcy looked at her daughter and suddenly realized Hazel was no longer a child. She was 18 now, a young woman ready for marriage. Following tradition, Mrs. Darcy arranged for Hazel to marry a young man from a wealthy family in another village. Preparations began immediately. Property documents were prepared, money was counted, and gifts were carefully selected. Mrs. Darcy wanted her daughter to enter her new home with pride and honor. Among all the gifts, one was especially important to her. Mrs. Darcy went to the most expensive store in the village to order a wedding box. It was made of fine wood, covered in bright blue silk, with a lion carefully sewn on the top. In their culture, a lion symbolized strength, wisdom, and the promise of a strong, intelligent son. This box was more than a gift. It was a mother's blessing, filled with hope for her daughter's future. But when the box arrived, Hazel barely looked at it. "I don't like the lion," she said coldly. "The design is wrong. Take it back." A second box came. Hazel complained again. A third box followed. Still, she was not satisfied. Each rejection cut deeper, not into the silk, but into the hearts of those who tried to please her. Mrs. Darcy said nothing. She only watched, unaware that her silence was allowing something dangerous to grow. Hazel did not realize it yet, but her constant dissatisfaction was planting the seeds of a lesson life would soon demand her to learn. And that lesson would come full circle. The wedding day arrived on the 18th day of the 6th month. Hazel had been waiting for this moment for a long time. From early morning, the house was filled with movement and soft voices. Servants walked carefully through the halls, carrying gifts and decorations. Mrs. Darcy stood beside her daughter, helping her into a wedding dress made of the finest white silk. The fabric shone softly in the light, and for a moment, Hazel felt truly special. When everything was ready, Hazel was brought to her wedding chair. According to tradition, she sat inside while thick curtains were drawn around her so no one could see her face. For strong men lifted the chair onto their shoulders. Before the journey began, Mrs. Darcy gently pulled the curtain aside and looked at her daughter one last time. "This is your special day," she said softly. "You look so beautiful. I am so proud of you." She placed the wedding box beside Hazel and added, "This is my gift to you. May it bring you strength and happiness." Hazel kissed her mother's hand, but her thoughts were already far away. She was imagining her new home, her new life, and the husband she had never met. Moments later, the chair was lifted, and her journey toward marriage began. Not long after they reached the main road, the sky darkened. Heavy rain began to fall, turning the road into deep mud. The men stopped and carried Hazel into a small shelter beside the road to wait for the storm to pass. Hazel felt annoyed and impatient. She wanted the journey to continue. Then she heard something unexpected. At first, she thought it was the rain, but soon she realized it was crying. Hazel opened her curtain slightly and saw another wedding chair nearby. It was old and worn, with torn curtains and faded wood. From inside came the sound of quiet sobbing. Hazel frowned. Why is someone crying on her wedding day? She thought. This could bring bad luck. Still, curiosity pulled at her. She sent her servant to ask what was wrong. When he returned, he said, "The bride is very poor. She has nothing to take with her to her new home." For the first time in her life, Hazel felt something shift inside her. She thought of all the things she had always had: comfort, gifts, choices. She looked at her own wedding box and then imagined the other bride with nothing at all. Without thinking too long, Hazel made a decision. "Take my box to her," she whispered. "Don't tell her my name." The servant tried to stop her, but Hazel insisted. The box was carried away, and soon the crying stopped. Only the rain remained. Hazel sat quietly as the storm slowly ended, unaware that a single gift given in the rain had just set a circle of fate in motion. Hazel's marriage turned out to be everything she had hoped for. Her mother had chosen well. Her husband was kind, respectful, and gentle in his ways. Their home was filled with warmth and laughter, and for the first time in her life, Hazel felt truly content. Not long after the wedding, she became a mother. The birth of her healthy baby boy brought her a joy she had never known before. She believed her happiness would last forever. 8 years passed quietly. Then, without warning, disaster struck. A powerful flood swept through their land, destroying everything in its path. Houses collapsed. Fields disappeared under dark water. Hazel's home was washed away, and in the chaos, she was separated from her husband and son. The world she knew vanished in a single night. With nothing left and no way to turn back, Hazel joined a group of people traveling toward a town called Greenwich, hoping to find safety. The journey was long and painful. Hunger followed them like a shadow. Hazel's heart ached not only from exhaustion, but from fear. She didn't know if her husband and child were alive. She had never felt so helpless in her life. When they finally reached Greenwich, life did not become easier. The town was crowded with people who had lost everything. Everyone tried to help one another, but there was very little to share. One afternoon, Hazel sat alone by the roadside, weak and trembling. A woman passed by and stopped. "You look hungry," the woman said gently. "There's food down this road. A wealthy businessman named Harry Lee has set up a tent to help flood victims." Hazel thanked her and followed the direction. Soon she saw a long line of people standing quietly, holding empty plates. Hazel joined them, her hands shaking. She had never stood in such a line before. Each step forward felt heavier than the last. Her pride burned inside her chest. When her turn finally came, the servant placed the last portion of food onto her plate. Then he announced that there was no food left. The woman behind Hazel began to cry. Hazel turned and saw an old woman, her face pale with hunger. Without a word, Hazel placed her food into the old woman's plate and walked away. Tears ran down her face as she left, but her heart felt strangely light. The woman who once had everything had learned her most important lesson: how to give, even when she had nothing. After Hazel gave away her food, someone noticed her kindness. A servant ran after her and asked why she had done such a thing when she herself was starving. Hazel answered honestly, "I am young. I can endure hunger longer than that old woman." The servant was deeply moved. He told her that his master, Harry Lee, was looking for someone kind and trustworthy to care for his young son. That same day, Hazel was taken to the Lee household. Harry Lee was a wealthy businessman, respected for his generosity. When he heard what Hazel had done, he offered her the job immediately. He explained that his wife had been ill for many years, and their son needed care and attention. Hazel accepted gratefully. For the first time since the flood, she felt a small sense of stability return to her life. The little boy, however, was difficult. He was spoiled, impatient, and demanded everything immediately. If he did not get what he wanted, he cried until his face turned red. Watching him was like looking into a mirror of her own childhood. Hazel felt ashamed as she remembered how ungrateful she had once been. She promised herself she would teach him kindness, gently and patiently. One day, while they were playing in the garden, the boy kicked his ball too hard. It rolled across the grass and stopped in front of a small house at the far end of the garden. The boy ran after it, then froze. "I want my ball," he screamed. Hazel's heart tightened. She remembered Harry Lee's warning clearly. That small house was forbidden. No one was allowed to enter it. Hazel tried to calm the boy, but he only cried louder. His tears echoed through the garden. Finally, fearing she would lose her job but unable to bear his cries, Hazel made a choice. She looked around carefully, then slowly opened the door and stepped inside. What she saw took her breath away. The room was quiet and peaceful. On a small table lay old books, faded photographs, and in the center of everything was a box covered in blue silk. Hazel's heart began to race. She recognized it instantly. It was her wedding box. Memories flooded her mind. Her mother's loving hands. The rainy wedding day. The gift she had given away without knowing its true value. Tears fell from her eyes as she knelt beside the table. Suddenly, a hand touched her shoulder. Hazel turned in fear and saw Mrs. Lee standing behind her, her face pale with shock. The truth was about to be revealed. The circles of fate had begun to close. Mrs. Lee looked at Hazel for a long moment, her eyes filling with tears. Her voice trembled as she spoke. "That box. It belonged to me once. I was the poor bride on the road, crying in the rain." Hazel's knees felt weak. She could hardly breathe. Mrs. Lee slowly sat down and continued her story. On her wedding day years ago, she had nothing. No gifts, no money, only fear about her future. Then, suddenly, a stranger had sent her a beautiful wedding box. Inside, she found precious gifts and a rare emerald. That emerald changed her life. She and her husband sold it to start a small business, which later grew into great success. When they became wealthy, they bought the emerald back and kept it in the box, always hoping to one day thank the woman who had saved them. "And now," Mrs. Lee said softly, taking Hazel's hands, "that woman is you." They cried together, not from sadness, but from relief and gratitude. Mrs. Lee returned the wedding box to Hazel. "Your mother gave you more than a gift," she said. "She gave the world a circle of kindness." When Harry Lee heard the full story, he immediately ordered his servants to search for Hazel's missing husband and son. Within days they were found, alive and safe. The reunion was filled with tears, laughter, and disbelief. Hazel held her family again, realizing how close she had come to losing everything forever. From that moment on, the two families became inseparable. They lived near each other, shared meals, shared burdens, and shared joy. Hazel's children grew up hearing the story of the wedding box, the gift given in the rain, the years of loss, and the miracle of return. As Hazel grew older, she often told this story to younger generations. She always ended the same way, with a gentle smile and a quiet truth. Life moves in circles. What you give will one day come back to you. Kindness always finds its way back. If this story touched your heart, like this video if you believe in the law of kindness and cause and effect. Comment below and share what lesson this story gave you. And subscribe to continue learning English through meaningful stories that stay with you long after they end.